Hi everybody, Carol here. Welcome. Today I'm going to be making a tiered gatefold card, and these are the papers I'm going to be using. They're Echo Park, I think it's called Summer Splash, two-sided papers, and I had them tied up because I've used some of it, and some of the papers I've stuck back in are loose. But these are the colors of the paper cardstock I'm going to be using. Just a tiny bit of that beige. But I cut some samples of the pieces out of white, and just to show you what it's going to be, I've cut them out of the orange paper, and you'll see plenty of that. But these tabs are 4 different sizes. There's a taller one, and then they go smaller in 1-inch increments. So there's the medium, and then the 3rd size, and then the little 4th size. So just wanted you to get an idea of the layout. I'll give you some measurements in a minute, and then these pieces are what are going to become an accordion fold, and it will go on each one of these, and it's kind of the use of like a mounting tape, and at the same time like a sponge. It's stretchable by being an accordion fold, and you'll see how it works in a minute. But these I'll also show you cutting them on the scoreboard. So here we go. This is the back piece. The big orange piece is the back piece, and there's one piece of print paper that's going to go on there, and I'll talk about the hole up at the top in a minute, and one little strip to finish it out. But it's just a 6x6 piece, and I need a little bit more than that. So this orange piece is 8 by, I didn't write it down, but anyway, there we go, 8 by 7, and that will shrink down at some point to be a 5. But the score marks are 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch, 6.5 inch, and 7.5, and that'll leave you a 1/2 inch tab down there. And you will fold the flaps, the last two, actually the score, these to the center of the card, and then we'll fold the little tabs back to make an accordion fold again. And this is kind of heavy cardstock, so I'm having to be strong with the burnishing there, but you'll see how it makes kind of a little wing, comes together, and things will start building on those tabs on out. And one of the things I've said before that I like to do is to cover the edges with a neutral colored ink, just to give it a nice little shading there. So all of these tabs we'll talk about and the size of them, but each one of those orange tabs, all of those I went around with ink, but then I'm showing you that I just glue the printed paper, set them aside to dry. It's Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and then when it dries it becomes repositionable. Now, one thing I didn't show or talk about was that little 6-inch mark down to the first score line, and that's the same thing as a pencil mark. That's just to show you we're going to cut right there at 6 inches, and I'm flipping it over and cutting off the other corner. You just cut from the first fold line up to the second fold line, and you can see there how it works. Now I'm going to glue, I folded one of the little accordion fold pieces, and just show you how we'll glue that, and I'll set that aside. And all of these are set aside to dry, but they'll all come into play in a minute. But I'll show you this is the way it's going to work, except not on this white sheet. This is just an example. I'll put the teal paper behind it so that you can see it. That accordion fold strip will go down to the edge of the paper, and those little pieces are 1.5 inch, and then you fold them on the 1/2 inch and the 1 inch line. So again, we're going to go back and glue those back pages, set them aside to dry. And now these have dried, and I'm going to put them together. I've sped it up quite a bit. Some of the papers are different shapes, different sizes, so they fill in the orange paper in a different way. But majority of them is about an 1/8 inch edge or border all the way around, except for the biggest one, because again my paper is only 6 inches long. So now we're going to fold these, what I call wings, fold them in a little bit, get them just as tight as I can, and you will glue those tabs, as I'm sure you could imagine by now. We're going to glue those tabs. Got too much glue on that, and just for safekeeping I'm going to scrape some of it off. And then here comes down the first layer of the tiered pieces. You line it up with the corner of the paper down at the bottom line and the side line. So and they will meet in the middle, and therefore you have your gatefold. Again, fold that in, line up that bottom corner, and voila, you have your first layer. Now those orange pieces are 7 inches tall, 6 inches tall, 5 inches tall, and 4 inches tall, 2.5 inches wide. The inside, all the inside pieces have about an 1/8 inch border, so you can figure that out. Now when you put these little pieces down, they're folded. You want the mountain fold on the top, headed, I should say facing the center. Each one, the mountain fold is on the top and facing the center. Now we'll repeat the same thing. Line these pieces up on the corners, and you can see that they're about 1 inch shorter than the one before. Now we're going to have this little piece that's 1 inch shorter than the one we did last time. Put the glue, mountain fold facing the center. Line those pieces up, and of course I've sped this up quite a bit. And then the shortest one, and you glue those right down the middle of the card. I didn't mention that, but right down the middle. And then we'll glue on the little short pieces. And I just use this part of the paper pack that's kind of like little postcards, and not really, but just cute little individual pictures. So when you get it lined up, this is what it looks like. So now I'm ready to put the center pieces in, the large pieces. And again, that's just slightly smaller than 5 by 7, so it ends up being that back teal piece ends up being 4 7/8, and the length is 6 7/8, just a little 1/8 inch border. So, and then put that little color strip down there, a little beige strip, just to fill that out. So that's what it looks like. You can see the tabs. And now this is what's so wonderful. Just pull it out. That's why mounting tape wouldn't be the same. This way you have that flexibility of that accordion strip in there. You can pull it out and pull it out, and I just think it's beautiful. I'm already thinking of things I can do with this same design and change it up a bit. But so just put that back there so you can see it a little better. And you can imagine this is very stationary. It can stand on its own because of all that base down there. And you can also see those little accordion strips in between each one. You can mess with it and fiddle with it and make it sit straight. If the recipient wanted to set that out, that might be what they would do. And then I love all the colored paper and all the printed paper. I just think it all works so well together and is so attractive. I'll just stop talking for a while and let you listen to the music. Now I'm stamping the back page. It is again just a little bit smaller than that whole back side. I'm putting the glue on it to set it aside. Stamped it with a happy birthday, and now I'm making the belly band. I actually cut that strip on the diagonal across my cardstock, and so I could get the longest piece possible. And then I'm just wrapping it around the card to see how it will fit. Meantime, while that little piece is drying before I put it back together, now this piece has dried, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the back. The little flamingos are just extra to play around with. I have a die I think I bought from Simon Says Stamp, and so I just had them. I thought I might use them, but it didn't. Turned out I really didn't need to. And then for the belly band, I had bought this package of Hawaiian things, and so I decided to cut that one apart, and that would be a good size. These little flowers and leaves would be a good size for the belly band ornament. Had to cut around. I didn't have to, but I cut around a little leaf as well, just because I thought it was cute and it was there. And so now we're going to go back and put the belly band on. There's the glue. It's had time to dry. I didn't need that much paper. It's totally overlapping, but then again, that's just that much more security. And I put a big old heavy, it may not look heavy, but it's heavy, a big old jar, glass jar full of utensils there and pencils and all that stuff. And so it's holding that down so I can work with it. And then I'll place where I want to put the flowers. I played with other things to be the center of attention. You could put so many things, but I like that one. Set it on there. I just want it to clear the edges pretty well, so it'll fit in a 5x7 envelope. It'll be full because of its thickness, so I might go a size larger envelope. And then I just started to play with those flamingos. I thought, is that too much? Maybe, probably. So playing with the colors will maybe look better with the dark one behind, but anyway, I decided no, don't need these. So I took them off, but they're cute. And then I'm going to set that same jar back on top of this for just a minute to kind of get it settled in and keep its shape. So there you have it. That is what the recipient will get. The recipient will receive. Slotted off, plenty of slack in there that I can get on and off easily. And I just love the way these turn out. The versatility, and I think it's kind of theatrical looking with those when those wings start coming out, like the wings of a majestic theater, or a stage. But just to give you a little close up on what some of the pattern papers look like, and these, as I said earlier, are two-sided, and so there is a lot you can get from this. In fact, I've had another pad of this same paper and used it on other cards. I started to show them to you, but this is a pretty long video, and I apologize for that. But I did speed it up terribly. Just a lot of parts to it. But I find that often makes a really good and interesting card. So that is it. I want to show you, if I can, how those little accordion folds work there. You can see them between the panels, and just to give you an idea. So, but anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did. So have a wonderful rest of the day today, and please come back soon, because I'll plan to have another card out before too long. At least I hope to. So until then, have a great day, as I said already, and thank you. Bye-bye for now.